Hello, readers. I'm about to save you thousands of dollars and hundreds of hours of your time. You've been led to believe that building wealth is all about picking complex stocks and making risky bets. Why? Because that's exactly what Wall Street wants you to think. But after reading over 100 books on finance, I can tell you the real path to wealth is simpler than you've ever imagined. And in this video, I'm giving you the 5 books that prove it. Let's be honest, you've been told that building wealth is some secret language spoken only by suits on Wall Street. You see the advice everywhere, and it's all conflicting. Buy crypto. No. Sell stocks. Invest in real estate. Wait, pay off all your debt first. It's confusing, it's overwhelming, and it feels designed to keep you out. And the truth is, the system works better for them when you think it's too complicated to handle on your own. But what if that was all a lie? What if the real principles for building a fortune weren't locked away in some dense textbook, but were hiding in plain sight, laid out in a handful of powerful books? Books that do one thing above all else. They completely reframe how you see money. Today, I'm sharing the 5 books that will shatter the myth that wealth is out of your reach. These aren't just books. This is a roadmap. We're going to fix your mindset, build a practical plan, adopt the habits of the wealthy, understand the power of ownership, and finally, build your wealth engine. By the end of this, you'll have the keys to the kingdom. For the Mindset Foundation, book number 1, The Psychology of Money. First up, and maybe the most important book on this list, is The Psychology of Money by Morgan Housel. There's a good reason we're starting here. Before you can even think about budgets or investments, you have to fix the software running in your head. Housel's main point is that financial success has very little to do with how smart you are and everything to do with how you act. This book isn't packed with charts or complicated formulas. Instead, it's a collection of short stories that dive into the strange and often illogical ways we all think about money. It's how a janitor can retire a millionaire while a top executive ends up broke. It's all about behavior. So many of us think, if I just had more money, my problems would disappear. But Housel shows that's just not true. He explains that getting wealthy and staying wealthy are 2 totally different skills. Getting wealthy often involves taking risks. Staying wealthy? That requires humility and the quiet fear that what you've built can vanish in an instant. I see this constantly. People get a raise, immediately upgrade their lifestyle, and then wonder why they're not building any real wealth. The biggest lesson from this book is that wealth isn't a spreadsheet. It's learning to manage your own fear and greed. Housel, permission to step off that treadmill of keeping up with the Joneses and start thinking about money in a way that actually makes sense. It's the essential first step, because without the right mindset, any plan is doomed. Book number 2, The Total Money Makeover. Okay, with our mindset straight, let's get practical. You need a concrete plan, and no book is more direct and actionable than The Total Money Makeover by Dave Ramsey. This thing is the antidote to the chaos of debt and financial stress. It's not a book of gentle suggestions. It's a step-by-step battle plan. Ramsey's philosophy is built on his 7 baby steps, and the whole point is to create momentum. He argues that personal finance is 80% behavior and only 20% head knowledge. That's why his plan starts with small, quick wins. Your very first step: save a $1,000 emergency fund. This isn't about math. It's about creating a small buffer so that a flat tire doesn't completely derail your journey. Then comes the most famous part, the debt snowball. You list your debts from smallest to largest, ignoring the interest rates, and you attack the smallest one with every spare dollar you have. Once it's gone, you take that entire payment and roll it onto the next smallest debt. This creates a massive psychological win that keeps you fired up. Millions of people have used this exact method to finally escape the crushing weight of student loans and credit cards. What I love about this book is its aggressive, no-excuses tone. Ramsey isn't selling a get-rich-quick fantasy. He's telling you that building wealth takes focus and discipline. This book is for anyone who feels like they're just spinning their wheels in debt. The Total Money Makeover is the tough love. You need to get your financial house in order and build a foundation of control that will serve you for life. Book number 3, The Millionaire Next Door. So you've got a plan. You're getting out of debt. But what does the destination actually look like? It's probably not what you're picturing. That brings us to our third book, The Millionaire Next Door, by Thomas J. Stanley and William D. Danko. This book is a landmark study that completely demolishes the Hollywood image of what it means to be rich. When you think millionaire, you probably imagine fancy cars, giant houses, and designer everything. But Stanley and Danko's research, based on over 20 years of data, found that most of America's millionaires are the complete opposite. They're the people living right next door, driving a 5-year-old Toyota, and living a surprisingly frugal life. The book drills home one core idea. Wealth is not the same as income. If you make a huge salary, but spend it all, you're not getting wealthier, you're just financing a high-stress lifestyle. The big secret is that real millionaires consistently choose financial independence over showing off a high social status. They live below their means, and they are obsessive savers and investors. This book is more relevant. Everyday habits, like saving, investing, and choosing assets that grow over flashy status symbols. The biggest takeaway is this. Building wealth is usually a slow, unglamorous process. It's about playing great defense, not just having a flashy offense. This book gives you a new, healthier definition of success, one based on your balance sheet, not your Instagram feed. Book number 4, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, asterisk, asterisk, asterisk. Understanding the habits of the wealthy is great, but how do they actually build their fortunes? It comes down to one word, ownership. And no book explains this better than our fourth pick, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, by Robert Kiyosaki. This book is a global phenomenon for a reason. It completely flips how you think about work and money. Kiyosaki tells the story of his two dads, his poor dad, a highly educated man who worked for the government, and his rich dad, his best friend's father, an entrepreneur who never finished the 8th grade. The poor dad's lesson was, work for money. The rich dad's lesson was, have money work for you. The core of the book is learning the difference between an asset and a liability. In simple terms, an asset puts money in your pocket. A liability takes money out of your pocket. The rich spend their lives buying assets. The poor and middle class spend their lives buying liabilities they think are assets, like a new car or an oversized house. This book is a massive wake-up call. It argues that our school system trains us to be good employees, not owners. It teaches us to trade our time for a paycheck, the slowest and most capped path to wealth. Kiyosaki urges you to shift your mindset from depending on a job to building financial independence by acquiring assets that generate income, like businesses, real estate, or stocks. Now, some of the specific advice is a bit dated, but the core message is absolutely timeless. This isn't a step-by-step guide, it's a fundamental mindset shift. It forces you to question what you've been taught and start thinking like an owner, not just an employee. It's about realizing that financial education is your ticket to freedom. Book number 5, The Intelligent Investor. And now, for the final piece of the puzzle. You've got the mindset, the plan, the habits, and the ownership framework. But how do you actually put your money to work in the market? Without losing your shirt? For that, we turn to the Bible of investing, The Intelligent Investor, by Benjamin Graham. First published back in 1949, its principles are so timeless that Warren Buffett himself has called it, by far, the best book on investing ever written. Let me be clear, this is not a light beach read. It can be dense, but its core ideas are the absolute bedrock of sound, long-term investing. Graham gives us two of the most powerful concepts in finance. History. The first is Mr. Market. He tells you to imagine the stock market is a moody business. Partner. Every day, he shows up and offers to either buy your shares or sell you his. Some days he's ecstatic and names a ridiculously high price. On other days, he's depressed and offers to sell you everything for pennies on the dollar. The intelligent investor doesn't get swept up in his mood swings. You're free to ignore him entirely. Or, even better, take. Gap. This margin is what protects you from bad luck or your own errors in judgment. It's your ultimate defense against risk. The biggest lesson from Graham is to treat investing like you're running a business, not like you're at a casino. It demands rational thought and emotional discipline. In an era of meme stocks and crypto hype, this book is the anchor of sanity you need. It teaches you how to be the realist who profits from the market's madness, giving you the intellectual engine to build resilient generational wealth. Now, I want to hear from you. What's the one book that changed your financial life? Drop it in the comments below. I'd love to check it out. And if you got any value from this video, a thumbs up is always appreciated. Stop waiting for permission. The path to wealth isn't locked away in some Wall Street vault. It's available to you right now. It starts not with a risky stock tip, but with turning a single page. The journey from feeling overwhelmed to feeling confident and in control of your financial destiny begins the moment you decide to learn. Pick one of these books, the one that speaks to you right now, and just start. The power to change your wealth game has always been in your hands.